Hello, welcome to another episode of the You Only Live Once, Life and Business Innovation Style. I'm Hani, your transformational coach, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 4 ways on how to change, actually 5 ways on how to change today, especially when it comes to transforming your life and creating the impossible, creating the miracles, creating things that you never even thought were possible, because we have the power to do that when we understand how to change and how to transform. So, the first thing I want to know, and the reason I'm actually really inspired to talk about this topic, is because I've been meeting so many potential clients who are wanting and having the desire to create some big changes in their lives. Because when you're creating incremental differences and incremental changes, it's not as exciting as when you challenge yourself and break free and out of your comfort zone, break out of your current way of thinking and into a new way of being. And that allows you to not only heal yourself, not only transform yourself and create and contribute at a higher level, but it creates the unlocking of energy within you that makes your life so much more meaningful, so much more natural motivation, and see so much more success in the way that you interact with people, so much more fulfillment. And a lot of stuff happens when you change for the better, especially when you're at this evolutionary stage. And if you're watching this video right now, you are probably being called to step up into this new change that is here and available for you, whether that's in your business, your health, your love life, or your connection to your inner power and your spirit that can flow through you. Now, the first thing about change that I want to share with you is about what constitutes you, right? When you are changing, it is not only just about thought, because a lot of times when you're thinking about changing, it's just a thought and the change doesn't actually happen. Why? Right? So when we're talking about change, we want to understand what exactly are we talking about changing here. And I have a couple of things that I want to share with you that require to change in order for your whole life and your reality to change. I actually specialize in helping people shift their realities, whether it's in their bodies or in their lives or in their businesses, right? I used to be a business coach. I still do a lot of business coaching now, but a lot of it is also to do with transformation and helping people change into the CEO, change into the husband, wife that they desire to be, into their ideal version of themselves, right? And sometimes healing as well, healing the body in a way that maybe for decades and decades and decades people didn't believe that is possible. So now the first thing you got to know is about your thoughts, right? Because your thoughts are actually what create your personality today, and your personality today is what is creating your results today. So in order to change your results and change your external results, you got to go upstream. And the upstream things are emotions, right? There are changes in emotions that you've got to change, changing in your experiences, changing your choices, and changing the way you think. Because when you start changing your thinking and changing your choices and experiences and changing the way that you react to things, then different types of results will occur because you will be changing your personality. So in order for you to go from here to where you want to go, a whole personality shift is required. And it is sometimes very challenging and threatening for your current personality, which is your old personality, because it's based off of your old thoughts, old choices, old experiences, and old emotions, to deal with such a unknown and ambiguous place, because you don't know who you would become if you were to throw all this away, right? So any conclusions, judgments, computations, projections, any of those things, being super hyper aware of them and being able to shift them will allow you to shift. And when you shift, things will shift. That's step number one. Realize who you are and what your personality is made up of your thoughts, your choices, your experiences, and the way that your emotions are programmed in your body. Now, step number two, or rather concept number two, is that everything that you're experiencing today, everything that you are doing today is based off of these series of thoughts, the way that you think, the way that you make decisions, the way that you experience things, and the way that you sense and feel about your situations, right? So these are all pre-programmed things that have accumulated based off of experiences. In many ways, people think this is amazing, right? Because this means you have more wisdom and more experience. Yes, but if you want to get to a point B that is not a place you've ever gone before, then all of this needs to be reduced into a beginner's mind, right? And how do you do that, right? Is a really interesting question. But first, realize that most of what you're doing, 95%, is run by your subconscious mind, which basically is your habits. And it is beyond what you can control, because this is something that has been created since childhood. And especially if you're someone who has done a lot of conscious work around this, you understand that even the deepest layers continue to show up because you can see them, especially when you're reacting in a high pressure or unconscious environment, when you with your loved ones or your parents, or right, it comes through some of these reactions are programs that create that blurt out from you without you knowing. And similar thing, same thing happens with your mindset as well. Now, why changing your conscious mind only does not work? That's the third point. The third concept I want to share with you is that even though you want to change and you have the feeling of you want to change, and your analytical mind says, you know what, it makes logical sense to change, why does it not work? Right? Just because I want to go somewhere and I want to, like when I had my 15-year disease, just because I want to heal that 15-year disease, and I changed my mind and I changed my body, I changed my diet, I changed my every way I thought about things, and I changed the people I hang out with, I changed everything, but my disease was still there. Why? Right? Because one of the things is that your logical and analytical mind only constitutes 5% of this iceberg of what actually happens. And in your subconscious mind, 95% is dictating exactly what's operating in you. The neurons that fire together are wired together. So if you habitually and unconsciously are thinking in a certain way and not opening up your mind to a vast unknown, taking leaps of faith into a place where you've never experienced before, you will always be staying in the same experience and your same reality. In order to break through this reality, it's very uncomfortable. A lot of people have a lot of challenges breaking through because it's terrifying. If it's not terrifying, you are probably in the same comfort zone. And I have transformed so many times, and it's always very uncomfortable, and sometimes very, very, like I'm standing at the edge, gripping my fingers, like scratching my fingers down the cliff, and I can see that I need to change, and I reluctantly change, but it's always, it's always something that I had to take a leap of faith, not knowing what's going to happen, complete ambiguity, and trust in my own ability to make the best out of it. And that is required for transformation. It takes a lot of courage to face the complete unknown and trust in your own ability. So change is not in the place of analytical mind. That only constitutes 5%. It's not in the logical. It's not linear. Change is not a place where you can see the answer immediately, because you will change and you can't predict where that change will lead you. And from a conceptual perspective, this is very terrifying for your minds because you don't know. Yet you can rewire your nerves and rewire your neurons to fire in a certain way that allows you to create more harmony and more positive firing of networks that create the reality that you want. And you cannot have one foot in the field of non-change and one foot in the field of change. It requires you to have both feet into the field of change in order for you to fully embrace and fully be able to shift. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck between two worlds, and that's not going to constitute change either, right? So thirdly, why conscious mind alone is not enough to change is because it requires a full-on commitment. And that's what I require of my clients. In my first session with my potential clients, I'm gauging how ready are you to actually jump into the unknown. If you're not, then it's a waste of both of our time, because it is really about feeling that fear and taking a leap of faith and bargaining and betting on yourself over and over and over and over again. chances are, if you're watching this, you have gone through struggles. You've gone through places where you feel that, all the odds are stacked up against you, and you were still able to move through it. And if you have experienced something like this, then you understand that the same applies to your change, and you will find the courage you found in creating that change to create this change here. So I hope this encourages you to feel the fear and walk through it just like you've done before, right? And you wouldn't be here unless you know that this is possible for you. And this is what you're here on earth for. Why else would you want to evolve? You don't want to stay stagnant, do you? All right. So the fourth thing is you can change your thoughts, right? Change your thoughts, change the constructs of your belief systems, and change the things that are non-constructive to your vision. And when you can pick out every single little thing, just like a nitpicker and an OCD person, this is which I am. I'm a very OCD energetic person. I will pick out every single non-congruent, non-resonant energetic thing in your life and your thought process when I'm working with you. I mean, especially my private clients. I do group programs as well, but now we're closed unless it's open, which I'll link below. But in my private sessions, which very selective, very few people make it to my private client list, but I will nitpick on the energies that are not in resonance, because anything that goes against and is in conflict with the goal that you want is going to influence it, right? And it's going to create dissonance that does not allow your whole body to believe and to create the change that you want. Manifestation, inner healing, healing of relationships, creating the abundance that you want. Like, these are all levels of change, right? So the first level of change is changing the way you interact with your world, right? Interact with your relationships. Actually, that kind of is challenging too, but pick something easy to change. And then you can play with changing your relationship dynamic with your parents or your partners, or maybe your close colleagues, picking the dimension of changing the relationship with yourself, picking the dimension of changing, your health condition or your business condition or your team interactions, right? Changing it permanently rather and deeply, and in a way that becomes automatically natural and organic versus forced and unsustainable, right? So natural, real change happens when it's coming from a place of integrity and coming from a place of true healing, right? When you really shift the biochemical and biodynamics and neural networks of how you interact with that item in your life, that's going to allow you to permanently shift some things. Now, the next thing is, once you master that, you can start changing your reality. And that's the part. I know it sounds very intriguing. And also, I'm sure there are skeptics here, which, why wouldn't you be? But once you master the art of changing your thoughts and changing your behaviors and changing your personality and changing your emotions and changing your programs, you can start installing positive programs, just like how traumas have created negative programs and really, really created a lot of unhealed wounds and reactions to people. Imagine if you were to shift that and allow positive and empowering and impactful and abundant programs to be installed in you. And that's my joy and excitement to help people with. Of course, I help them first. I help you with, clearing out all the stuff that's been accumulated in your entire life before we start installing the new stuff. So just saying, super fun stuff. Okay. All right. So fourth, so that's how you can change yourself to be bigger than your body. You can change your thoughts that are not bound by the past, but driven by the future and the inspiration. And from here, then you can experience the world. This weekend, I'm going to be speaking and being in a group of, 280 something people who are coaches and holistic transformers, and changing the world, and creating these 3-day conferences and experiencing massive impact in the form of supporting these new coaches and holistic practitioners. And this opportunity came to me out of the blue, right? Out of the blue, because I was open to possibility. My intention was to attract inspired impact, income, and total amazing potential clients, right? And that was like a week, 2 weeks ago that I've been doing the quantum meditations and quantum shifts around that. And within a week, within 2 weeks, crazy opportunities came my way. And now I'm using this to create crazy opportunities for my clients. I mean, I always have been, but now I found even new ways, more new ways to accelerate this process. If this sounds really confusing to you, just realize that we're working with energy. And when the energy is in favor of your change, and when the energy of non-change is deleted from your system, then change will happen. All right. It does take diligence and it does take commitment. And it does take courage. Most importantly, courage to trust yourself in the unknown, courage to trust yourself in the ambiguity, and trusting that you will get to exactly where you want to go and more. All right. So the last point, reprogramming everything and starting with your thoughts. So I kind of alluded to this point already just now. So the fifth point and the bonus point to change is allowing yourself to reprogram yourself and to release the attachment to old thoughts, release the attachment to old traumas, release the attachment to old frameworks of thoughts, the attachment to your analytical 5% mind and the logical, because change and transformation happens in the unconscious. It happens beyond your logical mind. Like trusting that you have this other part of your body and other part of your mind that is so powerful that you haven't even utilized it. All the science says that, we're only utilizing at least only like 20% of our actual capacity in our brains, right? What about the other 80%? How are you going to access that? And then when you can access that, you can change. I've seen this happen over and over and over again. And I'm really, really, really excited to support more of you and you to change into not only the person who you want to be, that create the impact that you want to create, but also create the vision that you have come here on earth to create. All right. So put a comment down below and say, yes, I'm ready to change, because change is the constant and it's always time for us to evolve into the better. So if you're ready to do that, say, yes, I'm ready to change. And also I have prosperity blueprint in the links below on a meditation on how to unlock your prosperity blueprint on a quantum level. I've got transitions PDF that helps you transition into your most aligned vision of the future. And it's a long PDF that is a very comprehensive and very fun workbook with lots and lots of details and juicy stuff. And that's in the links below as well. And if you can't find it, if I'm too late to like upload it or my team hasn't put it up yet, just search yoloabundance.com/change. I think it's like yum.yoloabundance.com/change. And then lastly, if you're ready to really step into your change and really face the fear, face the unknown, and trust that you are able to walk out with way more than you believe was possible, then you can also book in a call with my team or I, and we can chat and see if this, like how this change looks like for you, and delve into that as well. I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful work. I'll talk to you soon. All right. So this is Hani signing off, and I shall see you in the next video. Talk